Good morning, YouTube. It is 10 a.m. in the great state of Texas, and I sound super nasally. Sorry, it's super early in the morning. What are we doing today? We're doing an epoxy bowl, I think. That's what the thumbnail says. We've got some white mica powder, we got some sky blue, and a stick, it looks like. And I assume what we're going to do is we're going to take this bowl, mix all of this together, and we're going to make a cool little epoxy bowl, like we do on this channel, giving you the thumbs up. So here we go. Interesting fact, we are starting this project back in July sometime, and took me like a week to finish this bowl. And today, when I'm doing this commentary, is September 23rd of 2022. So let's see, that's almost 2 months it took me to do the commentary for this. But look at that color, really freaking cool. So mix that all up, obviously. Love how this color looks. 4.5 hours in the pressure pot, and then boom, there it is. Ended up losing the mold to this. I don't know, it just stuck, and then I had to rip apart the actual plastic bowl itself. So didn't get to save that, but I really like this bowl. So I'll have to go back to the dollar store and pick up some more of those molds. But 4.5 hours, you can see all the cool swirl, the little white mica powder. Obviously makes that pop to get that really cool marble look. That's what I love about epoxy. A lot of the times when I do this, the marbling really just adds something to it. So here we go. Don't be stingy with your glue gun. I haven't been in the actual workshop in like months, like 2 months almost by the time I make this bowl. So like I said, I made this back in July, and work obligations and things at my other job kept me out of the garage. Obviously that's why we did the marathon projects, because I had, limited access and availability to go make something. So I was hoping with this smaller project I would have, keep the skills up basically. But it's pretty much like riding a bike. Once you do it once, you get back in there, get it back into the rhythm of doing stuff. So this project pretty much didn't have any issues. The only real issues, sorry about that, just burped on camera or during the commentary. The only real issues I had was getting into the garage to get some time to get everything done. And like I said, this was like in July of 2022 when I made this project, and it was hot as hell in the garage. So that was another limiting factor. So getting this put on the lathe, obviously we got the faceplate on there, and now we're just taking the bowl gouge and getting that superficial layer off like we do with all of these projects, getting some pretty good ribbons off. And you can see, look at that, boom. That's my favorite part. There's always when we get those good shavings once we get that first initial layer off. And now we're just rounding out everything, coming back with the round carbide tool, making everything nice and even. Every time when there's a large gap like this, when I haven't done a project in so long, my worst fear, especially with the round carbide tool, is getting a catch and then having like shards of epoxy hit me in the face. That's why it's so important to wear your face shield, because you will pay the price. So once we got that superficial layer off, now all we're doing is coming back, rounding out the bottom again using that round carbide tool. Stop the camera there. You can see there's a little spot where I had to come back and edge everything off. And now we're just making sure everything is nice and even. This part went relatively well. Just, small, simple strokes, just really taking our time. And again, just checking for all those little imperfections. Had a small little spot there, so we had to go back and round that out. Sorry for sounding so nasally. It's like, so today, like I said, is like September 22nd or 23rd. It's like 1 o'clock in the morning. Finally getting some time to come back and do the commentary for some of these projects. I actually have like 4 or 5 projects loaded that I'm doing commentary on right now, so sorry for the nasal congestion. It's winter in West Texas, so pollen's kicking up a little bit. So here we are, just making the mortise. Take the small carbide tool, the small little square, and sizing up our mortise here. Gonna stop the lathe. Looks like a good snug little fit. Just gonna take that off, and now we're gonna get the faceplate off. Ryobi drill, baby. I have like 4 drills, by the way. If you're ever curious, I have like 4 drills, and I only use like 1 of them. But you can never have too many drills, or like vice clamps. You can never have too many. So here we are, gonna pop this bad boy off. I've started to do this with a lot more projects instead of like putting it on the lathe. I find that this is just a little bit more effective, I guess, because I'm starting to get a lot of vibration on my lathe now that it's a little bit older, so some things just pop off. So that popped off relatively easy, not a big deal. Now we're just coming back, fixing that edge, making sure everything is nice, even, and balanced, and now we're just going to take off that superficial layer before we start the actual gouging portion of it. And there's a little bit of epoxy getting in the way. Coming back, hitting everything, making sure everything is nice and round. You can see my cool new vacuum in the background there. DeWalt. Had to get rid of the old one. Burnt out the motor on that one. So here we are, starting the gouging process. And like I said, it was hot as hell in the garage in July when I did this. The epoxy is actually melting off versus like being shaved off with the chisels. The chisels are doing a lot of the work. However, it is so hot that the epoxy at this point is just basically melting off of the chisels. And you'll see a little bit of that when I do the actual sanding portion of it. This went relatively easy. That was a great thing about these smaller bowls like this. It just melts off. So we're just having to come back with the larger carbide tool. Now we're just edging out the lip of the bowl, getting to a nice depth, doing our cleanup work, you know, attention to detail, those kinds of things. This really took no time at all, and you can see by the shavings that were on there, you know, everything went relatively smooth. Nothing jumped off the lathe, which is always a good thing, because nothing worse than, you know, that happening to you when something jumps off the lathe. If you go back and watch some of my older videos, it used to happen all of the time early on in my woodworking career, so that was a bit of a pain, but we've learned to adjust to that. So here we are, we've basically hit the depth that we want, and now we're just coming back with this small round carbide tool and just doing a little bit of cleanup work, getting a feel for the edges here, starting and stopping, and we're done with the gouging part. And you can see all the cool shavings. It's always, you know what, I've been doing this for almost 4 years now. Still amazes me how much shavings can come off of one small little bowl. And if you get into woodworking, this is what you have to look forward to. The cleanup of all of those shavings from one small little project. So here we are, my favorite part, the sanding. Gonna go from 340 all the way up to 1500, and then we're gonna come back and hit it with a micro mesh. And like I said, I'm not sure if I showed in this one, but it's so hot that, you know, all that friction from the sandpaper is basically just melting the epoxy. So that part isn't too much fun to deal with. But boom, and then we come back, hit it with that wet sanding. And this is where you really, you know, really make your money here with the actual, you know, sanding part. And I lost my little mesh pad. I forgot all about that. And then we're just coming back, hitting it with some wood wax, getting that on there, nice small little layer. And then you can see how cool this looks after you polish it all up. And here's the final project, or the final product. Real nice, smooth. Not a lot of issues with this. Not bad for almost being out of the workshop for 2 months. Like I said, 2 months to get back in the workshop to make this, and then 2 months to do the damn commentary and find some time to do it. So there it is. Hope you guys liked it. Hope you got something out of it. Like I said, I did this in July. Did the commentary in September of 2022. You guys are watching this in February. I'll catch you in the next one. All right. Peace. Alright, so project is done. Here we are. A little aquamarine bowl. So, it is 1:30, July 29th, 2022. You guys are probably watching this in either January or February of 2023. Not a whole lot of problems. In case you're keeping track of the timeline, you guys obviously just got done watching the marathon of bowl making, and what am I trying to say? I haven't been in the garage in a month because of other obligations I've had going on, so I'm glad I post these, you know, videos far in advance like I do. But this one, even though I've been out of the shop for about a month because of work, this is basically, you know, skills are still there. So nice small little bowl. I did the casting like 4 weeks ago and only have just now gotten to it, but overall turned out really well. Just our nice little simple bowl. Going to try to find the time to make bigger, larger projects because I really don't know how my 2023 is going to go. Like I said, I'm talking to you in 2022 right now. Don't know how 2023 is going to go. So we might have to do a couple more marathon bowls just to make sure that we have content for the channel. But overall, really happy. Really liked how this turned out. Obviously, as I always say, we're going to do them bigger. So hope you liked it. Hope you got something out of it. Don't forget to subscribe. All that good, fun stuff every YouTuber says. And it's hot as hell in here. I'm going to go inside the air conditioning. All right, so catch you guys later. Peace.